Hi everybody, Lori here for Simon Says Stamp. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've got a fun rainbow tree projects featuring the Kathy Zielske Peaceful Trees stamp set. Came out in the Stamptember release, but with all the amazing collaborations, I haven't had a chance to play with it yet. And I love this set so much. I mean, I love everything Kathy Zielske designs, but I wanted to do a row of rainbow trees with those two different sizes of trees. And I don't know if somebody's made a card like this. I mean, a row of rainbow trees is not a new idea. But if I, pick up a set with trees, it's the first thing that comes to mind, and I have to get it out of my system before I can move on. So I'm going to take the two different sizes of trees, and I'm just going to alternate them and stamp them in rainbow order. So I have a panel of Hammermill white cardstock. I've got my large Misty here. Could also use the mini. I don't know why I have the large. It was the nearest. And I'm going to be using all Pawsitively saturated inks, starting with blush. So this is going to be kind of a lighter row of trees. You definitely could do the same thing with more intense colors, make it more vibrant. You could even go a shade lighter and make it very pastel. You could customize the colors, make it more earth tony, make them different shades of green. You know what, you get where I'm going. You can customize this in a million different color ways, but I had to do one in rainbow just to see how it would look. So this is a very stamp heavy card. A lot of times my cards are very die cut heavy, and then every once in a while I just like to do a good old fashioned stampin' heavy card. And so here we have Peachy. If I forget to mention a color or a supply, everything that I use on this card will be listed in the description box if you're watching this on YouTube. So I do clean the stamps, and then I reposition, alternating large tree, small tree. Now I'm using lemonade ink, and I'm trying to purposefully overlap and kind of make some trees higher, some lower, just for visual interest. Okay, and sometimes, since I've gotten to know my inks well, it's kind of like getting to know your stove well. I know some of the inks are juicier than others. For example, this one here, which is Celery, it's not as juicy as Lemonade. So I knew I was going to have to stamp that one a couple times. But like Lemonade, I only stamped it once. So you kind of got to get to know your ink pads and just kind of gauge how many times you need to stamp it. Here we have Seafoam, a nice aqua. These are like my go-to Pawsitively saturated ink colors. Every once in a while I'll get a message and people will ask me, what colors do you recommend getting? And these are the colors I always say: blush, peachy, lemonade, celery, seafoam, marine. I'll be using lilac and then rounding it out with carnation. Although peony is my favorite pink, but peony is very intense and would just be too loud for this kind of softer row color. You can even see that marine, even though I love that true blue, it's slightly more intense. So you got to be careful. You got to gauge the intensity. You don't want any color to be too loud or too soft. You want them all to kind of be consistent in their vibrancy. Although, that's an idea. Maybe you should play on that, like do really intense color, then do very soft color, intense, soft, intense, soft. It's an idea just coming to me right now. But here we have our row of rainbow trees, and then I'm going to do this very simple peace and joy sentiment and just kind of stamp it right at the top. I did think about bringing it down into the center and overlapping. I love that look too, just kind of overlapping this, putting the sentiment right into the images. But this time I put it up at the top. There was like a nice spot up there. Here's an oldie but a goodie. This is the Stitched Slopes and Hills die set, and it gives you a lot of different variations on hills, and they're all beautiful. Some are like give you stitching lines, and some die cut. So it gives you that too. And I chose this one here. It's just kind of a little swoopy hill. I'm going to die cut a base out of white cardstock. I take this off camera, run it through my die cutting machine, and then I'm going to pop this up right at the bottom of the card. So I'm using some of this Big Mama foam tape, which I love. It's not that thick, but it gives you the dimension and it gives you the shadow. And so I'm going to just kind of nestle this, trying to make it straight. And not all the trunks of the trees will be tucked down in there, but it's good enough. You know what I mean? And I'm going to take my guillotine trimmer and just cut off any excess. So I love this white on white. And then I have a white card base. I switched here to the Neenah Solar White 110 pound for the card base. I scored it with the Simon Says Stamp scoreboard. I'm using a Teflon bone folder. And then I'm just going to tape this on with tape runner. A lot of times I crop my panel slightly smaller so you have a nice little border around the edge. But because I wanted to fit in all those rainbow trees and I wanted space, I wanted that feeling of space around the sides, I went right to the edge. And I'm embellishing here with a few of these Northern Lights sequins. They were also, I think, a part of the Stamptember release, I believe. And there you have it. Such a simple card. These are usually my most favorite at the end of the day. I just love the simplicity of the stamping and the rainbow color. CZ Peaceful Trees. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at SimonsSaysStamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.